y'all, I am Tina, aka Her Life Sparkles, and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a video that's pretty long overdue, and it is to fill you guys in on like the totality of my influencer journey from like, I guess my backstory, my pre-story, or the journey up into getting started to where I am today. I'm pretty long-winded, so this might end up being two parts. If it is, bear with me, but I feel like this story is long overdue to just kind of fill you guys in, especially those of you who are new to my brand and my page after the CNBC article the other week. So um, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you subscribe so that whenever I drop a new video, some new content, you are in the know to get that update. But without further ado, here's how here's how the story goes. So what had happened was I have been on social media since forever. When Facebook first came out and it was only for college students, I was on it. When Instagram first came out, it was for iPhone only. I didn't have iPhone at the time, but when they finally opened it up to Droid users, I immediately hopped on Instagram. I've always shared my life from hairstyles to what I'm wearing to, what we were doing with little James because he was our only kid at the time, whether we were taking him to the park or having, a cute birthday party for him. Back then it was, my doings and goings weren't as extravagant, but I've always shared them. I've just always enjoyed being a mom or wearing cute outfits or cute hairstyles and just sharing them with everyone. And people have always asked me about what I'm doing, what I'm using, how to do this, that, and the third. So it's always something I've naturally done. I think as far back as when we got engaged in 2014, I remember or in 2013, I remember James telling me, if you're going to spend so much time on social media, you should figure out how to make money from it. And that's before like influencers were a thing. So while I did love being on social media, like having social media be my job was the furthest thing from my mind. But I was also still trying to find my special thing, the thing that I was passionate about. I've always been the person that's good at several different things, but like not necessarily great at any one thing. So like I worked in retail for a number of years. I went to college, but I ended up dropping out. And based on the career path that I had set for myself there, I was supposed to be an officer in the U.S. Army. That's a whole different story for another day. But I ended up not finishing school around the time that we got pregnant with little James. So shoulda, coulda, woulda. I worked in the insurance industry. Like my last job before becoming a full-time influencer was me being an insurance adjuster. So I've always done a number of things, but regardless of what I've done, social media has always been a constant, so to speak, in my life. So I think back into 2014, 2015, around the time that we were planning our wedding, we were building our first home. This is when people really got crazy into like natural hair tutorials on YouTube, and um, I never really had the guts to go for it. I was always nervous that it wouldn't be received well, so I played it safe and would just post like pick tutorials here and there on Instagram, and they will always be like well received, but I let fear keep me from taking the plunge. And then going in 2015 for Christmas, I had decided that I was going to be serious. I was going to do it. I was going to take it serious. And James bought me a camera for Christmas, my very first camera. He bought me a Sony A6000. And guess what? I did not use it. Well, I did, and I recorded a couple of hair tutorials, and in terms of the styles came out great, but I never published the videos because I was very self-conscious about how I looked on camera. I felt like I still had too much baby weight after having Zoe that summer, and my face was fat, my neck was fat, and I could not get over myself to publish those videos. So although the hairstyles came out perfect, they always do, I let insecurity keep me from making those videos live. So all of 2016, where I was supposed to be launching my natural hair YouTube channel, I did not do it. 2017, pretty much came and went, and I was just focused on my 9 to 5 at the time, which was being an insurance adjuster. And then 2018 happened. Well, a little bit of backstory. 2017, December, my birthday, we went on a ski trip with our friends, and as a part of my birthday gift, my friends and James planned like an amazing photo shoot for me while we were there. So in addition to just having a fun time, we have all of these beautiful memories that, they put together to capture. So January 2018, and every year we do the Daniel fast to start the year. And that year I was specifically asking God to just help me, find clarity on my thing, something that makes me happy that I can enjoy doing that didn't, feel like pulling my teeth out sort of work, so to speak, because while I was a good insurance adjuster, it was not like the most fun job in the world, if that makes sense. And because I had like false started or promised to start and everything so many times, when God told me to go ahead and start building my website, I did it during the Daniel fast over that 3 weeks. And we always fast social media at that time as well. So I was able to really just focus in and, listen to him and to my heart and what I was wanting. So I built my website during the Daniel fast, and I did not tell anybody, not even James. And that was because I had false started so many times. So, I took that time to build my website, and that was essentially the beginning of my influencer journey, January 2018. So when I launched, it was at the end of the Daniel fast, January 22nd specifically. I shared my blog and, updated my Instagram name. I didn't start a new page or anything. I started with the page that I already had, which was like my page from college and everything, or pre-marriage and everything. And I might have had 2,400 followers at the time. So it wasn't a lot. And it was mostly people that I had just met over the years or family and friends. So that was the foundation of which I started my influencer journey. But I wanted to give my backstory, so to speak, because so many people think that you have to have this perfect life and be this perfect person to be an influencer. And I am none of those things. I don't have a degree. I'm not like a professional photographer. Like, our relationship is the furthest thing from perfect. Like, the beginning part of our relationship is a ghetto hot mess. So it's amazing that we are able to still be like loving and nurturing to each other today. We had a child before we were married. I've been evicted. I've been fired from jobs. I have been many, many, many things. And while those things happened to me, they don't define who I am. So if anybody who is watching this is considering becoming an influencer and you think you have to be this perfect patty person with this perfect patty life, like, please let go of that false expectation, that weighted expectation that you're placing on yourself, because you don't have to be that. You just have to be you. And it sounds so cliche, but that's the beauty of being able to use your voice to create a platform. Nobody can do you like you. Nobody can be you like you. So just be you. The people who are supposed to relate to you and be attracted to you and want to support you will. So for anybody who's thinking that they need to be perfect to be an influencer, I am proof that you do not, because I am. I couldn't be further from perfect if I tried. But January 2018, I launched my blog, and my very first post was about the ski trip. So it was about how to plan an epic ski trip with your friends, and just expressing like my extreme gratitude for my friends for having such a wonderful trip. Because if you've ever tried to plan a group trip, they can be pretty difficult. And by the time it gets time for the trip, there's only like two people going. But that was like the first group trip that we planned, and everybody came. It was so dope. You have to do it again soon. But anyway, fast forward, I was posting consistently, just trying to find like my style and my aesthetic on Instagram. And I remember back then I would do like picture, and then I think like a textgram or something, that pattern. Oh, a mess. But that's what I was doing back then. If I can go back and find a screenshot, I'll plug it in so that you can see what I was talking about. But that was my thing. And then as soon as I started like getting my feet wet, we ended up getting pregnant with Luke. And I don't know if you've heard of like new blogger burnout, but it is assumed that most new bloggers or even new influencers, creators, whichever you want to call it, will burn out within the first 3 months. I got pregnant in February. And so that pregnancy contributed to my burnout, because while I love Luke's entire being, his pregnancy was a surprise. We weren't planning. I had actually took plan B. It's no secret there, and still ended up pregnant. Um, So that was like, that took me through like a very dramatic emotional roller coaster because I was just so set in my mind that I was not ready for a third child, that we weren't ready for a third child. If you're a mom, then you understand the whole process of getting back to yourself after having a baby. And Zoe was only 2 at the time. So it was like I was just getting to enjoy her in her toddler stage and not needing me so much, no longer breastfeeding, being less clingy and all of those things. And it was just like, oh my gosh, I have to do this again. Anyway, it threw me for a loop and I did not post. I maybe post once a week here and there. That April, we went to the Bahamas because it was a spring break trip we had always planned. But there, we told the kids about the new baby. We were supposed to have our pregnancy announcement shoot. The shoot ended up not happening because James had to leave the Bahamas 2 days early for like a work emergency. So, and I didn't want to do the shoot without him because I was just so bummed. So all of these things just combined, and I was just like, you know what? Forget it. So fast forward to June 2018, like from January to June 2018, I might have posted on Instagram a whole 20 times. Like that's how infrequent I was with my posting. That's how just over everything I was. And then in June of 2018, I ended up taking a trip with my girlfriends. We did a girls trip to the Hamptons. I think it was like 10 of us. Um, and we had such a good time. It was just kind of like a refresh, relax, reconnect with yourself kind of thing. And then I just got to be kid free minus the baby bump, so just free to just exist outside of someone needing me. And it really just got my creativity flowing. We took a lot of pictures. We had a lot of good time. And when most people think of trips, um, especially like summer girls trips, they're trying to go to like the Caribbean or to Europe or all of those places. I hadn't really heard too many people going to the Hamptons. So I was like, you know what? I should write about this. So, when we got back from the trip, I used all of my content essentially to kickstart my journey again. And I wrote a blog post about planning a trip to the Hamptons, and we went to the winery and just all these amazing things. And I had all these amazing pictures to go with it. And from that point on is where I picked the ball back up and I did not drop it again. And people always ask me where I started. And although I did launch my blog in January of 2018, I really started in June 2018. And the one screenshot that I am for sure that I have is from June 2018. I had like 2,400 followers. And that was the beginning of the brand, or, what as Her Life Sparkles. And from there, it was just sharing more of my pregnancy journey, my everyday mom life, because back then, of course, outside was open. Zoe and little James went to daycare during the day, but then after school, they still had extracurricular activities like soccer or ballet or all of these things, or we would go to the park or, what we were going to be eating for dinner or just outings as a family. So things were a little bit more exciting in terms of family life, but it was just sharing that. The growing pains of adulthood, the growing pains of parenthood, of carrying a new baby and still trying to do all of these things, because I didn't make it a secret that I was trying to become an influencer slash content creator. So my audience at the time knew that like this was something that I was taking on as a side hustle. So for those who say that they want to become an influencer but they don't have time, this is where I let you know that I wrote the book on not having time, because in June 2018, I was working a 9 to 5. I was in my second trimester of pregnancy. I had a 3-year-old, and I think he was an 8-year-old. James, my husband, was only home on the weekends. It took me an hour to get to work, another hour to get home on a good day. That's how awful my commute was. And I still found time to create content, to write captions, to research brands, to research just the influencer industry as in general, and post consistently, and still show up for work and be a stellar employee, and still show up for my children and show up for my husband when he was home. So, I say that to say that you make time for the things that you want in your life, whether it's becoming an influencer, starting a fitness journey, learning how to sew, or any of those things that you want to do. You create time for the things that you want. So it's not how do you have time, because I have the same 24 hours in a day as you. It's how I choose to allot my time and the things that I choose to make for. So if you feel like you don't have time, then one, it's probably not a priority to you, or two, you might have to cut out some other things, because there were times where I was creating on the weekends or writing blogs late at night that I wanted to just be at brunch with friends, shooting the shit. Excuse my French, I curse when I talk. Shooting the shit or doing some other things, but that was more important to me at the time. So I had given myself a 6-month goal from June until December. It was maybe more like 5.5 months, but I told myself that I was going to put my all into it before I said that something didn't work. So I wanted to see where I would be by the end of December to know whether or not, this was something that I wanted to continue to pour my energy into, but I wanted to give it my all so that if it didn't work, I at least could find peace in knowing that I tried. Um, so if you've been posting consistently for a week and nothing amazing has happened, you got to keep going. Even if you've been posting consistently for a month, you have to keep going. Try 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and see, where you are at the end of that time frame. But one day, 1 week, 1 month is not enough in terms of seeing it through. So yeah, I was just candidly sharing my journey, in terms of what I was going on, what we were going through, and just sharing brands that I use and love. Like back then, I was sharing Children's Place for free. If you follow me currently, that's probably a brand that I've worked with the most, in terms of a paid capacity. But back then, I was just sharing them for free because I've always loved shopping at Children's Place, even as far back as when my oldest, who is 11, was a baby. Like I can specifically pull up pictures and let you know that it was a Children's Place outfit because I've always loved Children's Place for my kids. So back then I was sharing clearance sales or little spring hauls or summer hauls for cute but affordable clothing for kids. And that turned into a real brand affinity and the brand loving me as much as I love them. And then in 2019, 2020, and even now in 2021, I've worked with them in paid capacity in amazing ways. Last year, especially during the holiday, we were on their website, featuring family pajamas, which we have always loved doing. We were featured in their store for matching family holiday pajamas. So it's just goes to show you that the best way to get the attention of a brand you love is to share them organically. Because almost anybody can share a brand if they pay you to do it, but it's almost like if you share them without any strings attached, they know it's real. Your audience knows it's real too. So that is what I always tell people who ask me what's the best way to get the attention, from a brand that you want to work with. Of course, you can pitch them, you can send them an email, you can send them a DM, but the best way to do it is to share them and to tag them. Not saying that you have to do it in every single post because you don't want to turn your Instagram feed into just like a scrolling billboard, but tag them on your feed post, tag them on your stories, show real fan love. And because at the end of the day, it's people behind those brand accounts working it. They see it. So, that's probably the best way to get the attention from brands. And now I need to look at my timeline because I don't remember. I feel like I got off track. No, I'm on track. So from there, in let's see. So I got serious in June 2018. And then in August of 2018 is when I got my first partnership, but it wasn't paid. It was a handbag brand. Um, and they sent me a handbag, and what did they send me? It was either a handbag and some shoes. It was a handbag and something. I gotta dig up the picture, but it was definitely a handbag. It was like this cute chocolate blush color. It had my initials on it with like the bomb gold chain. I still have it. I'm not opening the closet though, but I still have the handbag. And it was just an exchange for the handbag. So that was my first actual like ad campaign. And I was very proud of it. I had to be very creative with the picture because the outfit that I chose to wear with it, I was pregnant. My pants couldn't button. So I had to take the picture sitting down with my sweater pulled over my belly so nobody could see that my belly was sticking out. But it came out really, really cute. But that was my first That was my first brand partnership, and it was not paid. And I know so many people are wondering if so, and that's a question that I get asked a lot, whether or not I worked with brands and or not I paid capacity in the beginning. And I did. And to be 100% transparent, I still do today, depending on the brand, the product, and the value of the product. Obviously, I wouldn't work today for just any handbag free. We're talking about like a designer handbag. That's a different conversation. But, not like a $30, $40 handbag. I probably would not do it. But if we're talking furniture, television, mattress, dressers, something large that I was going to spend my money on anyway, then I would absolutely consider, or even a trip, I would absolutely consider doing that in trade for content. Um, my first paid campaign was for it was for $50, and that's not what I'm laughing at because I was very proud of that $50. I'm laughing at the brands because it was Dove dry shampoo and Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And when I say that out loud, every time it's just like they don't have anything to do with each other, but they were on the partnership together. And that was the first campaign that I was paid for, but it was also the first campaign and the only campaign that I took for a product that I didn't actually use and love. It was the first time somebody offered me payment for posts, so I just felt like I could not say no to that. But also up until that point, I hadn't even tried dry shampoo. And I don't often wear my hair straight enough to even use dry shampoo. I get my hair straightened once a year. So even then, that's the only time I use dry shampoo. But up until that point, I had never used it. And then I was pregnant, so I wasn't like gulping coffee like, I probably would when I wasn't carrying. So to tie together a campaign for something that I didn't use on my hair and something that I wasn't drinking and try to make it make sense for my life, my aesthetic, my feed, it literally felt like pulling teeth. Not only taking the picture, but also writing the caption. And it was in that moment that although nobody, well, some people probably knew, but the majority of people probably wouldn't have been able to tell you whether or not I was telling the truth at the time. I felt like everybody could see right through me. So I decided that if I was going to continue to do it, that I was going to do it with integrity. I was not going to use, recommend, share products that I did not organically use and love, or at least try a couple of times before sharing it, and then want to let everybody know how it's added value to my life. So that was a huge, turning point in my journey. And I've stuck through that. I've had brands that I love, and I'm talking about spent thousands of dollars with them, give me two poor customer service experiences, too many, and I've backed out of campaigns. Dream brands. I've backed out of those campaigns. I've had brands offer me great sums of money to share hair care products, and then I use it on my hair and it makes my hair feel like straw. I've backed out of campaigns. If I don't use it, love it, the kids don't use it, love it, it's not something that we're using on a regular basis in our house, I'm not talking about it. It's just because the trust factor with my audience is my community is too important to me. And without their trust, I essentially don't have a platform. So I cannot abuse that, and I know so many people, some people don't care that much. It's just like, they're just people on Instagram, but it's not, for me, it's not like that. They are my Instagram family. So their trust and the closeness of that relationship absolutely matters to me. So, um, I hope your takeaway from that piece is to really make sure that if you're going to be sharing about it on a paid or a non-paid capacity, that it is a brand that you use and love. But yeah, my first paid campaign was for $50. I got it through the influencer network, Social Native. Um, and Social Native is one of the influencer networks where you can get your foot in the door in terms of working with brands. The payments won't be, $5,000, $10,000, but it's enough to get your feet wet, to understand the interworkings of the process of working with a brand and a submission timeline and reading a brief and time, making the brand concept, your own, and bring it live in a photo and all of these things. So if you're just like in the very, very, very beginning of your influencer journey, I would recommend that you give it a try. Again, you're not going to make $1 million using it, but it's a great way to start building your influencer resume, aka a media kit. Um, let's see, what did I want to say next? I keep having like these brain farts. Because there's just so much to say. So I'm trying to be informative but concise. So, um, my first well-paying campaign. My first well-paying campaign, or at the time, I thought it was well-paying. It actually ended up being for Johnson's Baby. And my first well-paying campaign was for Johnson's Baby shampoo, and it was also, or baby bath. And it was also in September 2018, and it was for $300. And for that amount of money at that time, I thought I hit the lottery. But in hindsight, I got robbed, or I gave away the farm, because they asked me my rate and I basically told them $100 for a feed post with some stories. And not only just that, but it was 3 feed posts, 3 sets of stories, perpetual usage rights. And for those of you who have never heard that term, it means that they can use it in emails and digital marketing, run ads with it, and all these kind of things if they so desire. And I'll put one of the images up because it was just Zoe. They are some of the cutest images that we have ever captured in my entire journey, even back in the beginning. But they were so cute. And this is where I'll pause to say, some people are influencers, some people are content creators. Not everybody is both. I pride myself on being both, and I think that's partially why I have been as successful as I have been in this space, because influencer, somebody who can share a product that they use and love and have people, purchase those products too and get great engagement. Content creator, somebody who creates content beautifully enough that a brand wants to use it on their website and their email chains. Or because brands can't use like their own photography teams or marketing teams right now, they can essentially create content for the brand in-house for the brand to use however they wish. I do both of those things, and I do both of those things well, which is why even back then I took the art of studying photography and photo composition and things like that seriously, which is why I think even back then my photos were better than some of my peers. Um, but yeah, those photos came out so cute. And I gave all that away for $300. Like present day, if a brand asked me for all that, it would be like $30,000, if not more. So it's mind blowing to me to know that I did that for $300. But you don't know what you don't know in the beginning, and you have to learn and course correct along the way. And that's one of the reasons why I actually started influencer education or influencer coaching, so to speak, is because you don't know what you don't know. And even if you Google and Pinterest and YouTube and all of those things, so there's so many great areas, and I want to be to others what I wish I had at the beginning stages of the journey. And it's just like somebody to tell me whether or not I'm going in the right direction, to be a voice of reason, to be a sounding board, to be all of those things. So that's part of the reason why I even went into influencer education in the first place. But that was my first, I guess, good check that I felt like I could at least pay a bill with. It was for Johnson's Baby. What else do I want to tell you guys about the beginning of my journey? Let's see. So from June to December, by December, I think I had 12,000 followers. But just the consistency of sharing more, to being more transparent about what was going on in my life, sharing the ups and downs of working a 9 to 5 while having a side hustle, working a 9 to 5 while still having 2 young children and not having the support of my husband in the evening because he was working out of state. And then just pregnancy itself. I won't sugarcoat it. People love like milestones, life milestones on social media. Get pregnant, get married, build a house, all of those things. They make for great engagement and for new people to tap in and fall in love with your story. So I won't pretend that me being pregnant didn't give me a bit of a cheat code, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna keep getting pregnant for Instagram. I'm not gonna redo my wedding for Instagram or any of those things. So if you don't have any of that going on in your life right now, don't feel like you can't get started because you don't have any of that happening for you, because again, the people that are supposed to find you and rally behind you absolutely will, regardless of where you are in your life. So you don't have to be married, you don't have to be a parent, you don't have to have a crazy huge house. You don't have to have any of those things. Start where you are. And as you journey through life, highs and lows, take people on the journey with you. That makes you real. That makes you relatable. That makes you um, imperfect. And in the great big bubble of perfect people living their perfect lives on Instagram, imperfection always wins. Um, Like, yeah, because if I'm not going to do anything else, I'm going to keep it real. If I'm having a good day, you know I'm having a good day. If I'm having a bad day, you're going to know I'm having a bad day. I'm not showing up every day in makeup. Probably not showing up every day with my hair done. The only day I've gotten a pass so far because my hair has been braided. But when it's not done, it's not done, and that's okay. Just like when the kids' hair is undone, or their shirts are dirty, or the house isn't always in perfect condition, it's okay. Show up as yourself and just be the best version of you. Don't compare yourself to what others have going on in their personal lives on Instagram or anything like that, because at the end of the day, it's a highlight reel. Most people don't post their bad days as openly as their good days. So you could be looking at somebody who is going through literal hell behind, closed doors, but you would never know it looking at their feed. So try not to get caught up in that comparison. But
So the next
next
question
question
is,
is how do you handle the need to film post personal life? Um, it kind of ties back to the previous question. You draw a line in the sand on what you're comfortable sharing, and then you don't share anything beyond that. So whether it's regarding your relationship or your marriage, and just kind of keeping those things private, whether it's about your kids and stories that can embarrass them, later in life, then don't share that either. I try not to post anything that my kids can be teased about as teenagers, because teenagers can be vicious. So I try not to post anything, especially because little James, he's older. He'll be 12 this year. I don't want one of his friends to be able to come across my Instagram page and be like, hey, look what your mom made you do. So I try not to do anything that could potentially embarrass them, that could make it difficult for them to get a job in the future, because once you put it on the internet, it's there. I guess unless you're like a Kardashian and you can get it scrubbed off. Typically, once you write it on the internet, it is there in permanent marker. Some server somewhere has it saved, and if somebody Googles it, it's going to pop up. So I try not to post anything that would tarnish them or embarrass them long term. And then in terms of my marriage and my relationship, we're pretty vocal about things that our hardships are from a personal communication standpoint to even financial hardships. But I do it in a level in which he's comfortable with. I'm not going to be posting like a knockdown, drag out argument. I don't post like where he works, because he does still work in corporate America. I'm not posting information about like his income and his salary. I'm very vocal about mine, but it's my business and it's my choice to share that. But some things just have to remain private, and you will learn that there is an art to being public but still maintaining some privacy. I I share a lot, but I still don't share everything. I think I just share it in a way that I make you feel like you know everything in my life, because you know everything that you need to know. But you just draw a line in the sand. You decide what works for you in terms of your relationship, your children, or whatever it is that you feel comfortable sharing in life, and then you don't cross that line for any reason, not even for a check. You just don't. Like, I've had brands reach out to me that want to have me promote intimacy products like lubricants or toys and all of that stuff, and it's just like, I can let you into our marriage, but I'm not going to let you into our bedroom. Do we have sex? Yes, but that's all you need to. I mean, obviously we do. We have kids, but that's all you need to know. So, you just have to draw your line in the sand and don't cross it for any reason. Um, what gave you the strength to quit your job? Plus, was it easy financially? So, from a financial standpoint, when starting my journey, we weren't necessarily struggling financially. James was in a very solid position at work and as the breadwinner of the family. So if push came to shove, and which he paid the majority of the bills anyway. So if push came to shove and I fell flat on my face with this, we were going to be okay. But I made it a point to not ever want to be in a position to not be able to contribute to the family. So my goal before walking away from my full-time job was to be able to make and save 1 year's worth of salary. So I worked as as an insurance adjuster, where I made $55,000 a year before taxes. So in 2019, my goal was to at least match and be able to save that full amount. So that's what I did. Everything that I made as an influencer in 2019 went immediately into a savings account. I wasn't spending it. I wasn't living my best life or any of those things. I was saving that money. And even last year, that's what I did with 90% of my income. It goes into savings. But before I had I felt comfortable or had the confidence to walk away, I wanted to at least know that I had the nest egg of at least 1 year's salary to fall back on. So anybody who is considering doing it and whether this is your side hustle or anything else, make sure that you have a nest egg to fall back on before you walk away in the off chance that things don't work out or COVID happens or, the economy crashes or anything unexpected, because life is just so full of curveballs and unexpectancies. Like, who could have predicted that COVID was coming? You want to make sure that you have a cushion to catch you, if you stumble a little bit. How do I go from getting free product to getting paid? The simplest answer is to ask. A brand offers you free product, you simply let them know that, hey, this is my budget for this type of content. Let me know if this works for you. You would be surprised at how many people don't get paid for work because they didn't send a budget. They didn't ask to be paid. So the simplest answer is to ask. The more difficult answer is probably something, not to be salesy here, but I would probably need to look at your page and we could discuss it over something like a coaching call or even in my mentee masterclass group. But it's making sure that you're posting consistently valuable content in a way that it not only brings value to your audience, but to the brand. Um, and that is not something you're just doing like once a month. It's something that you're doing multiple times a week so that when the brand comes to look at your page, which is essentially your influencer resume, they know that you have a track record of producing that type of content. What is the best way to identify spam collab inquiries? The first thing I look for is whether or not you address me by my first name. If you don't call me Tina, then I'm probably not even going to respond to the email. Don't call me Her Life Sparkles. Don't call me Sparkles. Don't call me anything because my name is right there. And it's so simple. It's hard to miss. It's hard to misspell. Call me Tina because that's my name. So usually if an email doesn't identify me by name, I probably won't even read it. Beyond that, I look at the body of the email for like formatting issues, grammar issues, foreign text. Like sometimes there'll be text with like words in Arabic or Chinese, like things like that. I typically don't respond to, and I absolutely don't click on links from any unknown senders because hackers are very, very, very real, especially once you get to an account of a certain size, and they make it their life's work to try to hack your account so they can sell it to somebody else. So be mindful of those kind of things. And then I know a lot of times brands will send out DMs like, hey, we want you to be an ambassador for us. We're going to offer you a 40% off coupon code so you can go and buy this shirt and share it with your audience, and then we'll give you a 20% off code to share it with them. And this is where I have to inform you that if you've ever done that, you're not a brand ambassador, you're a discounted customer. Because if any brand is asking you to be an ambassador and promote their product in any type of way, at the very least, both the product and the shipping should be absolutely free, because what it costs them to make or produce or manufacture their product is not the equivalent of what they're selling it for. So they made a profit off of you. So no, you're not an ambassador, you're a paying customer. So just keep that in mind. If a brand wants you to promote anything, I don't care if you only have 200 followers, because 200 is still a great deal of people to be sharing something with. Consider having 200 people in your house right now. That's a lot of people, right? Yes. So even if you're just starting with your 200 followers, if a brand wants you to share something, it should be free. Let's see. Is there other ways you can work with brands without posting on social media? Absolutely. You can write for them, blog post, or you can make videos for them. You can do photos for them, because even though the world is slowly opening back up, a lot of things still have not gone back to full capacity. Social distancing is still a thing. Wearing masks and all that is still a thing. So a lot of brands aren't able to go back to full production. So they can't have like a photo shoot schedule, a commercial shoot scheduled where they have makeup artists, film artists, set casting crew, lighting crew, and all of these things like they normally would, because that's a lot of money and a lot of people. So to be able to be a one woman show for all of those things, you can actually absolutely produce content only for brands. But again, your content is going to have to speak for you, and it's going to have to be good enough quality to the point that they will want to hire you. When did you know to how did you know to actually start reaching out to brands? This is a good question because I didn't. I didn't start reaching out to brands directly until like December 2018, January 2019. So I had about 12,000 followers at the time. And it was after a good bit of brands that started reaching out to me. In hindsight, and what I coach is that I don't care if you have 500 followers or 1,000 followers. If you are producing quality content, valuable content, teachable content, shareable content consistently, then you should absolutely be pitching brands, because if you can identify a need for your audience and a brand and marry that, that's the idea that you should be pitching to the brand to work with you, and the quality of your content would speak for itself. Like, following size be damned. So there's no perfect number that you need to have to start reaching out to brands. You need to have good work ethic and quality content. That's it. The rest, can be worked out in negotiation, but there's no magic number of followers that you need to start reaching out to brands, because the number of people following you isn't the sum total of your value as an influencer. Did the pressures of having to pay debt, student loans, etc., mess with your creativity? No. Again, like, we weren't just swimming in debt when I first started. We were pretty stable. And if anything, wanting to be debt free, or wanting the freedom to live life on my own terms, to set my own schedule, to travel how I see fit, and all of those things, that fueled me. It was something to work toward, to work harder for. So no, it didn't stifle my creativity. If anything, it pushed me to go harder, to learn more, to do more. So I wouldn't say that the pressure of that, again, it wasn't like a looming, I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. My family was not going to be able to eat if my influencer journey didn't work. So that wasn't my experience. So no, if anything, it fueled me. All that to say that I am debt free, with the exception of my student loans, because I'm still waiting for somebody to pass a bill that is going to be, that my payments are going to be waived. So that is the last thing that I have to pay off. And I've still only been paying the minimum payment because I really don't want to pay it. And it's mostly me. I'm salty because I don't actually have a degree. So I'm paying, but I went to school for 4 years. I had one semester left when I stopped going. I know. But I'm paying for a degree that I don't have. So I'm bitter every time I make a payment. Um, What do you wish you had done or knew differently when you first got started? That I wish I knew that I didn't have to just wait for brands to come to me. Because while brands do approach me the majority of the time, anytime that you're not reaching out to a brand or pitching the idea to a brand, you are leaving. That's a missed opportunity. You're leaving money on the table. Like, if the only way you're going to make money is if you wait for somebody to bring money to you, that's a bad way to operate. So that's one thing I wish I knew in the beginning, that I did not have to have this massive audience, this massive amount of followers to start pitching brands. That's something I wish I had done in the beginning. Um, let's see. Influencers who made it make it seem so easy to grow their following. Yeah, I'm struggling. How? The best way to grow, and I sound like a broken record at this point, but it's true, is to create valuable, shareable content consistently. Because you have to think about the influencers that you use and you love and you follow, not you use and love, but that you follow and love or share their content. Is it just okay? Is it just like some random post that they were posting just to post? Or is it something that taught you something that you wanted to try, that the deal was so good that you felt like you had to hop on it and buy it? Or it's something that you wanted to take back and share with your friends because it was just that funny. You have to think about, you want to make people do three things when creating content. You want to make them act, you want to make them laugh, or you want to make them think. And whether it's think more personal about how they're living their day-to-day life, how they're parenting their kids, how they're interacting with their spouse. You want to make them laugh, you want to make them cry, you want to make them have some type of emotional reaction, or you want to make them go buy something because you just made it seem like such a dream. So if you can do any of those three things consistently, like as you're planning your content, then people will have no choice but to share their content because you made them feel something. So yeah, it has to be more than just a pretty picture, but the pretty pictures matter too. So you can't just be throwing up any kind of picture. Is it well lit? Is it nicely composed? Is the area in which you're in clean and neat and tidy? Again, not that you have to have a picture perfect home, but are you going to be more, think about you. Are you going to be more attracted to the photo of the made bed or the unmade bed? The tidy living room or the untidy living room? So you have to think about that as you're creating your content. Um, and then even beyond that, engagement is a two-way street. So you can't want people to follow you and share your stuff and comment on your posts, but you don't reciprocate or return that energy. So the people who follow me, although I'm not as good at it as I used to be, but I respond to comments. I always answer my DMs. And then on my down days, I take time and I go and watch their stories and I go read their captions on their posts, or comment on their posts so that I can kind of know what's going on with them. You have to be willing to engage with the people that you're expecting to engage with you. Because just think about how you feel. Because we've all done it. We've commented on somebody's post or we've sent somebody a DM and they've never responded. And sometimes it's been something that we wanted to know where they got it from. We wanted to purchase something from them. We wanted their help with something, but nobody likes to be ignored. So if you find that you are posting consistently and you feel like you are posting good content consistently, but it isn't being shared, your engagement is low, are you reciprocating the engagement, the energy that you wish to receive from your audience? Because it's a two-way street. It's a relationship. You have to nurture it. So nurture the relationship that you have with your community, with your audience, and see where that takes you. Let's see. This is going to be my last question for this whole Q&A. What do you consider to be your niche? I'm my niche. My life is my niche. I'm not just a mommy blogger. I'm not just a relationship blogger. I'm definitely not a home decor or a fashion influencer. Um, I'm not any of those one things, but I am Tina. And this month, I happen to be Tina, the mom, the wife, the entrepreneur who's also restarting her fitness journey. So, in addition to sharing about mom life and marriage life and work life, I'm also sharing about my journey to get my wellness back to where I want it to be. So whatever you're going through in any season of your life is shareable. You don't have to share just any one thing. I'm not going to restrict myself to fashion. I'm not going to restrict myself to motherhood because I'm multifaceted and my personality is just too big for all that. And I don't coach to that because I feel like you put yourself in a box by doing that. If you only want to share food, by all means do so. If you only want to share hair, do it. But you're putting yourself in the food or hair box or mom box or all of those things. And so many of us are so much more than just titles or hats that we wear in any given moment in our life. So just share you, all of you, however that comes, good, bad, hilarious, ugly, however that comes, because we all have ugly days, just share it. And again, the people that are supposed to find you and receive you and love you always, always will. And I say it because I'm living it. I am not this perfect person. I don't have this perfect life. When we're having down things or I'm having bad days or I'm having difficult moments, I don't make it a secret. Difficult moments in parenting, difficult moments just in family life, or it doesn't have to be a secret. You can share it in a tangible, non-embarrassing way. Oh, well, I don't know because because if any of you follow my husband on Instagram, he was so proud of me after the whole article thing, and he was in trying to share his pride in his Instagram caption. He was like, "This woman dropped out of college," and it was like, "Okay, hold up." I mean, but when you finish reading the whole caption, you get his point. But just that one sentence made me go, "You couldn't have said it better than that." So, share your life, good, bad, ugly, high points, low points, all points in between, because none of us have this life thing figured out. As women, as men, as individuals, as parents, as spouses, as life partners, whatever you have, none of us have it figured out. We're all just trying to figure it out as we go. So just share. And somebody out there is going to be able to relate to you. Somebody out there is, if not going through the same thing, is pretty damn close. So just share your life and the things that you're going through, the things that make you tick, the things that make you happy, And literally the world is your oyster from there, or the influencer world is. But I think, the regular world is too. There is nobody can put limits on what you're doing but you. So don't let the word niche limit you to what you want to share. Your life can be your niche. Um, I think that's it, because I have been talking for quite some time, and I'll probably need to do a part two for like 2020 and beyond, because I did not get into the meat and the potatoes of how I made $300,000 last year. But this is like my backstory, my journey to getting started, and then like a beginner based question Q&A. So if you have anything specific that you want to know about like 2020, how that blew up for me, how I was able to, what changed, and how I was able to make $300,000 last year, just anything that you felt like I did not answer or expound upon thoroughly enough in this video, drop it in the comments. But I hope you found this helpful, insightful, and that it helps you want to go forward with giving this a try or getting started. Or if it's something that you have been doing and you kind of slacked off due to lack of confidence, I hope it made you want to pick the ball back up and just continue running the race. But again, I am Tina, Her Life Sparkles, whichever you call me or know me by. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.